with y'all tonight. Y'all get ready. Buckle your seatbelts.
You go, Ryan.
Appreciate it, bro. How you guys doing tonight, man? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Excited. All right, so I've spoke several times in front of large crowds, hundreds, thousands, all this stuff, but it's something about when you're doing it for God, it's just different. And it's a different level of excitement. So if I'm nervous, bear with me. But it's going to be okay. We're going to figure it out, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. So yeah, as Joe said, my name is Ryan Dickerson. I've spent probably, I'll say this, I'm 29 years old. I've spent probably 27 years of my life not really knowing who God really was. Yeah, I knew of him, right? Like I knew of him. I believed him. I knew he was there. But I really didn't know him. And I didn't have that relationship with him that I think we all long for. And so my hope for you tonight is that with this message, that you can strengthen your relationship with God, or maybe that you can build a relationship on a solid foundation with Christ. And so saying that, guys, I spent most of my life chasing all the things that the world tells you to chase. I chased cars, I chased clothes, shoes, relationships, money, status, you name it, right? Like all the stuff that the world's like, oh man, you gotta have it. And so yeah, look, I've owned like the fast cars, sure, whatever, they're great. But it's like when you're driving a fast car, all that you're really doing is not filling that void. All that you're really doing is driving faster away from the problems that you have, right? And it's like you're searching for that void. The Nike, the Jordan, the shoe collection, all these things, like that's cool, but it never really took away the problems, and it didn't make the road I was walking down any easier. Contrary to what Nike will tell you, it doesn't make it any easier. And so I got into relationships that I had no business being in, several of those. But the thing about it is, again, it was never filling that void. I was chasing status. I was like, oh man, I want to be cool. Like, I want to be cool. I want to fit in with culture. I want to be that person everybody says, oh man, I like that guy. He's cool, right? And I think we've all been there, or at least some of us have been there. And I was chasing that for such a long time. But you know what's funny about chasing status and popularity and what's cool is that what's the real definition of popularity? Like, does anybody, like, what's the popular? So here's what I think about it, right? So we're popular in whose eyes, right? Popularity is a matter of opinion. And so whoever we're thinking that we want to be cool or popular, we better make sure that their opinion, right? That their opinion of us, that it's worth us losing our peace for. And spoiler alert, it's never worth it. Yeah. It's never worth your peace losing over anybody, over anything. It's never worth it. So we'll get back to that. I don't want to get too deep into that right now, but I will say, guys, do you notice a common theme with everything so far? Do you guys notice a theme in what I'm saying? I'm using the word I. I'm using the word me. I chased. I searched for. So what's crazy is that I never allowed God to work in my life. Me, I chased for so long, thinking that I could fix all my problems, right? Little did I know, his plans for me were up here, mine for me were down here. Like, I had no idea. I was like, I got it all figured out. But he had such higher plans, such greater plans for me that I couldn't even imagine, I couldn't even fathom. So what was life like before God, right? And I want to show you guys with a visual. And can you guys all see this right here? I know it's a little small. Shout out to Amazon for really messing this one up. But so we have scales, and I'm a visual person. I'm a visual learner. I always have been. That's why I was never good at math. I'm a visual person. I like to see things. So I want you guys to take a look at this, right? So the scales were supposed to tip. They don't. But we're going to work with it. So what we've got here, this is me right here, and this is God. This is the plans that God has for my life. This is the plans that I have for my life. And I want you guys to see something. At first glance, it's like, wait a minute. The scales are in my favor. Like, the scales are in my favor. Everything's good, right? I'm winning. Look, I've got the weight here. But think about this, though. You see all the baggage? You guys see all the baggage that's weighing down? All the rocks that were supposed to be all the shiny things? Really and truly, it's all things that were weighing me down. It's the stress, it's the anxiety. It's everything else that I had going on in my life, the depression. All these things, right? But look at what God had for me. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. Colors, life full of life. Just beautiful living that I wasn't seeing. And honestly, if you look at it, which side's closer to God? Right? Which side's closer to God? The side that's higher, the stuff that he had for me. So when the world looks at this, when I looked at this before my relationship with Christ, I said, man, I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. But little did I know, his plans were way higher. So just a visual representation, and I want you guys to think about this tonight as we walk through everything I'm going to tell you, and I want you to be thinking about that too as you progress this week, and just kind of keep it on your mind. So guys, I don't know about y'all, I'm a huge music fan. Always have been. Music speaks to me. It's where I pretty much am the most vulnerable. Like, don't tell my wife this, but when I'm riding around in the car, sometimes I'll just start crying because I'm listening to music and it's really hitting with me, right? Whether it be worship music, whether it be Christian hip hop, whatever that looks like, it just hits with me. It always has. And so tonight I want to share with you guys some lyrics that have really hit and resonated with me over my life and over my journey. I should say my journey as I've started to walk with Christ. So that being said, Arlen, would you mind putting up the first lyrics on the screen? Thank you, sir. So this lyric here says, I know some people have been searching, so they drink about it. But from the cup I drink from could never run dry. I don't know if you guys heard the song. It's beautiful, big Hovey fan. But guys, I used to drink from that same cup, like literally. Used to drink from that same cup, right? But you name it. So I searched in everything but God for peace and joy. Hear me out. Cars, women, alcohol, music, everything I thought was cool, right? Everything. I searched for everything. But every time that cup would end up running dry, every single time, it would take me back to that same place where I was empty. I was empty inside. It was temporary happiness, right? So check this out. Nowadays, my cup's full with God and his word. So let me give you some examples, right? Let's say I'm anxious. Let's say I'm stressed out, like I was before I took the stage. Let's say I'm worried, right? Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Cast all your anxieties, your worries, your fears onto God, because why? He cares for you, right? So now I've got the word. You see what I'm saying? Well, let's check this out. What about if I'm sad? What about if I'm sad? Then I go to Psalms 34, 17, 18. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. I'll never forget when I heard that from Tony. The first time he said it on stage, it really resonated with me. And it stays with me to this day. I think about it all the time. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. So think about that anytime you're sad. Or you say, right, what about if I'm scared? What about if I'm uncertain? Right, what about that? There's nothing for that, right? Perfect. Isaiah 41:10, right? So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. You get where I'm coming from here, guys? Like, think about it. This is all the word. This is God. This is spiritual living. So anytime you're going through things, and we can run down the list, what if I'm unsure if God's on my side? You guys ever have that feeling? You wake up one day, man, I don't know if God's with me today. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm nervous. I just got broken up with. We all go through that, right? Romans 38:39, for I am sure that neither death nor life, get this, nor angels, rulers, things present nor things to come, powers, height or depth, you name it, nothing in creation will be able to separate us from the love of God and Jesus Christ. It's all there for us, and all we got to do is search for it. But it's like, but I was so busy focused on what I had for me, right? Like I was so busy focused on that. I thought I had it all figured out, man. I was winning. Look at the scales. They're in my favor. But I didn't have it, right? Lastly enough, I've got this tattooed on my arm, it's my favorite scripture. Not strong enough, lacking courage. Maybe it's before a sporting event. Like Josh Quagan talked a couple weeks ago about how before he gets in the cage, he's freaking out. Nobody can see it because he's acting bold, right? But he's freaking out. So you can only believe or imagine that he's thinking of Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Notice he didn't say, I can do one or two things. I can do a couple things. No, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So remember that, guys. So it's like, so what are we filling our cup up with? And I think that's one of the bigger messages I want you guys to take away from tonight. What are we filling it up with? Is it things of the world? Is it things that culture is telling us to fill it up with? Reality TV? What is it? Honestly, I mean, it could be so many things because that's how the world is. Hate, the envy, the lust, the vanity, all these things that the world's going to try to pour into you when God's like, hey, man, look, I got it figured out. Ben had it figured out. I was just waiting on you, right? And that was him for me. So Arlen, if you don't mind, hit the next slide for me, man. I appreciate it. Made to be salt of the world, so I let him keep shaking me. Every time I hear this one, man, I get chills because, people used to try to shake me all the time. And guess what they would get? Anger, frustration, fear, all the time. And so it's like now when I get shook, what do I get? What do they get? What do they get? They get love. They get peace. They get kindness. They get fruits of the Spirit. Because here's why. When you squeeze a lime, what comes out? Anybody? Lime juice. You don't squeeze a lime and get apple juice, right? So here's what happens. The output is a direct, it's a direct product of what's input. So if I'm feeding my spirit with the word and not things of the world, guess what's going to happen when people test me? Guess what's going to happen when I get shook? Guess what's going to happen when I might have a bad day? Fruits of the Spirit. You're getting everything that I got from God. You're not getting the things that I had, that I used to have of the world, right? It's powerful. So now I feed my spirit with the word. Matthew 5:13 tells us that we are the salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. God created you to be great, created you to be a creator. So they can try to shake me all they want. Like, that's what's great about it now. Is all they're getting is the fruits of the Spirit, just like Jesus. And Jesus went through it. We think we go through it. Jesus went through it. But he came out on the other side every single time. And he showed his character, his love, his peace, his joy, his kindness, his selflessness. All the things that Jesus was, guys. We got to be that, right? On the next slide, please. I love that picture right there. I love that t-shirt. Christmas is coming up. Somebody tell my wife, if she wouldn't mind, I wear a size large. So if I take an L, I learn and then I elevate. So we don't take L's anymore now that we live with Christ. Somebody say that. I don't take L's no more. I don't take L's no more. Nobody in this room takes L's anymore because you're walking with Christ. And let me tell you something. When we walk with Christ, we take learns. Y'all gonna be thinking about that later on this week. You'll be like, dang, he said take learns? Did he say that? Did he say that? Take learns, right? So we take learns and then we elevate. That's what we do. We don't lose anymore. I need y'all to just please implement that to your mind, because if I would have learned that so many years ago, where would I be, right? So we elevate. So we don't lose when we're living for Christ. Now, here's what I want you guys to take away. Listen, don't hear what I'm not saying. We're not perfect. By no means are we perfect. We'll never be. But that's okay. That's really okay. Because check this out. We're going to slip up. We're going to fall. Every single one of us is going to slip up and fall. I might slip in the parking lot and fall when I leave here. We're going to slip up and fall. Maybe we make a mistake. Oh, man, I made a mistake. I'm not perfect. But you know what's great about that? Check this out. Proverbs 24:16 says, the righteous man falls 7 times, yet he still rises again. He still rises again. He fell 7 times. He still rises again. How many of you guys fell before? See my hand up? I'm not talking about slip and fall. I'm talking about fell. You fell into depression. You fell into sadness, worry, anxiety, fear. It's okay. You're going to get back up. Because a righteous man, and that's what all of you are, righteous men, righteous women, righteous people of Christ, we're going to get back up because we got God on our side, right? Next slide, Arlen. So we're quick to talk, but we ain't fast to listen. How many of you, so I ain't going to ask you to raise your hand. Never mind, I ain't going to do that to you. But right. But okay, so here's the deal. So I was a talker. I was even on radio at one point. I loved to talk. I loved it. I wanted people to listen to what I had to say because I felt like I was something. I felt like I was something. Listen to what I'm saying, right? So I wanted to be heard and seen. Now check this out. Now today, I'm 10 times faster than I am listening than I'm talking. And what I mean is, it's like, you know, people ask me my advice nowadays, and I'm like, hey, man, I don't know. I'm going to have to call God and holler at you. You know, because it's like, I know that he has the wisdom, right? So in all seriousness, check this out. I'm talking about listening to God. I'm not talking about like listening to a song or to a person or like, hey, man, I'm going to listen to you versus talk or whatever. No, I'm talking about listening to God because what he wants me to discern from a situation is what I need to take away from a situation. So check this out. It's okay to be quiet sometimes. Me and Troy were just talking about this. It's okay to be quiet. Like have your space. And check this out. In today's world, we're so consumed with our phones and with TV and with friends. And every time we go to think something, oh, but wait a minute, I'm going to play this song to distract me from what I'm really feeling. Or it's like, or man, I'm sad. I don't want to feel sad. I'm going to watch this movie. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be quiet sometimes. It's okay to spend time with God. It's okay. Take that time. It's precious. You need to feel your emotions because why? Because when we feel our emotions, then we know what to go to God with. We have the clarity. We know what to go to God with. We say, hey, God, look, I'm struggling with this. I need your help. And it's okay to ask for help. Trust me when I tell you. It's okay to ask for help. So don't get so consumed. Go somewhere where you can be quiet, you know? Be able to hear your thoughts, man. It's important. Next slide on. All right, so this is, Andy Mineo is one of my favorite artists of all time. He is actually my favorite artist of all time. Most of his lyrics have helped me really get through some deep, dark times in my life. If you're ever struggling with something, I would encourage you to listen to some Mineo stuff. There's tons of songs I could drop for you, but check this out. He says, we own things that we don't need to impress people we don't know. Man, I could stop right there, but I'm gonna keep going. Then we go broke trying to look rich. I can't do it. I just won't. I won't do it. So my new goal is to be close to the one that made my soul, right? Because them other highs are gonna let you down. All of them. All the other highs. I'm not gonna list them, but there's so many. But they're all gonna let you down. But check this out. He says, I'm trying to get so high I'll never land. I'm trying to be so high with Christ, I'll never land. It's gonna choke me up. It's one of my favorite lyrics. But what he's saying is, he's saying, I'm trying to be so close to God that nothing can take me down. Nothing. And that's where we all want to be, right? Man. So I learned to try to not go broke. I learned not to go broke, trying to look rich for people I don't know. And listen, I'm not just talking financially, although I did that. I'm talking about spiritually broke. I'm talking about mentally broke. I'm talking about emotionally broke. Why should I go broke for anybody? Why should I give up my peace for anybody, right? So don't let anybody compromise your peace, your integrity, your values, your character. Nobody. It's not worth it. Promise. It's not worth it. Them highs will always let you down. Always. I'm not going to get into stories, but they will. But the beautiful thing is that living in Christ, you get so high that sometimes you feel like you'll never land. Like, I'm a high energy guy. I don't think that's a secret to anybody. Yeah, people ask me like, man, do you just wake up like that?
I feel you.
Right? I tell them, no, come see me at 116, right? No, but here's the deal. But seriously though, in all honesty, I've always been a high energy person. But spiritual energy, you just wake up with a certain joy, man. You walk with a certain joy that you don't have when you're living in the natural. Like, there's happiness and then there's joy, right? It's important to distinguish. All right, I'll throw the last one up for me, bro. You guys know what that is?
Jack.
Shaquille O'Neal. One of the biggest players to ever play basketball. These kids young, I don't know. Like, they're like, who is that? Like, is that LeBron? Like, you know, so check this out. So check this out, right? So look, this is one of my favorite lyrics, guys. Hovey says, putting God in a box like seeing Shaq with some tights on. I want y'all to close y'all's eyes. Everybody close y'all's eyes right now. Everybody, close your eyes. I can see if you're not. Now I want you to picture Shaq with some leggings on.
Okay. All right.
You got it? Now, Katie, you can open up real fast. But all of y'all open up. Y'all open up, right? Okay, so how crazy is that? How many of y'all just said, oh, God, why did he make me do that? See, I was hungry, now I'm not. But here's the thing. How crazy was that when I told you to picture Shaq with some tights on? Isn't that crazy? It hurt my eyes, too, the first time I did it. You had to feel what I felt, right? So that's crazy. Right now, watch this. What's even crazier is trying to put God in a box. How many of us try to put God in a box? I want to do it my way. I got this. God, I see you, bro. You good? That's your box, but this is mine. Right? Don't we all? We all try to do that. We all try to figure out things on our own, right? Instead of letting God work. So it's like, so check this out. So when we do this, we're not allowing God to work in our life. And I'm not saying that we're not going to figure things out ourselves. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Like, we're going to figure some things out on our own. But sometimes we need to go to God. We need to go to the Word. Maybe we need to spend some time meditating. Maybe we need to say, hey, Pastor Tony, I need some help, man. I got this question. I need an answer. Don't put God in a box. How crazy is that? Think of what he did. Think of what he created. Look around. Created all that, right? So me personally, I'd rather go through things in life knowing the truth, knowing the way, and knowing the light. So the thief is constantly he's trying to kill, trying to steal, trying to destroy. But God said, I am the way. God said, I'm the way, I'm the truth, I'm the light. So let the light shine. Open it up. And don't be afraid to walk with Christ. Have that relationship. I'm telling you guys, I spent so many years of my life thinking I could do it alone. So many. But it's so much better this way. It's so much better. I got a beautiful wife. I got a family that loves me. I got a son. He's a dog. He's a son. And it's like everything in my life is just great. And guess what? I took my hands off. And I just said, God, whatever you think, I'm following. Whatever I hear from you, I'm following. I'm not going to argue anymore. I tried that. It didn't get me very far. So I'll close with this, guys. So what's it all for? Like what legacy do you want to leave behind? You guys are young, man. You guys are so young. You got your whole life ahead of you. But what do you want to be remembered for? Everybody has their own different reason. And whatever your reason is, it's okay. And I'll tell you this too, if you don't have it figured out yet, that's okay. It's okay. Don't let anybody rush your journey or tell you where you should be or where they think you should be. You're running your own race. I don't care how old you are. Teens or 70s. So, I can tell you this, I've searched for years for things that would satisfy the happiness, sure, we're temporarily, right? But nothing fills my cup like Jesus. Nothing. Jesus surpasses everything I've tried. It's not even close. So I would encourage you to search for that relationship, seek that relationship. We say I already have it. Perfect. Build it. And keep continuing to build it. Don't step back. The world's crazy. Things are going to happen. People are going to come in the way. But that relationship's there and it's only getting stronger. If you guys need something, look around. You got each other. You got us. You got God. So, I love all of you guys. We all love you. And I appreciate you letting me share today. And I hope with everything in my heart that you can take away something from this message that might help you get through something. Maybe it was a lyric. Maybe it was something I said in the beginning. It doesn't matter. I just hope you can take something away. So, love you guys. Thank you all very much for listening. And best of luck with everything. We're always here for you.